First of all, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. It won't cost you anything, but it can make a huge difference in my life. Recently, a situation unfolded that has caused quite a stir within women's sports, specifically between the LPGA, Ladies Professional Golf Association, and the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, as both leagues find themselves navigating the growing influence of Caitlin one of the brightest young stars in women's basketball. The controversy centers around Clark being invited to a special event hosted by the LPGA, which, rather than receiving universal praise, sparked frustration in certain corners of the WNBA. What started as a celebration of Clark's potential to bring fresh energy and a new wave of fans to women's golf has now raised deeper questions about competition for attention in the world of women's sports. Let's break this down. Caitlin Clark is an undeniable talent and a household name within the realm of women's basketball. With her success on the court, she has already earned a massive following. This alone makes her a valuable asset not only for basketball, but for the broader promotion of women's sports. Her appearance at an LPGA event was seen as a strategic move to leverage her popularity and attract a different demographic, particularly younger fans, who might not otherwise have tuned into women's golf. Clark's presence, by all accounts, turned out to be a major success. The event saw a surge in attendance, with many people eager to see the basketball phenom in a completely different sporting environment. It also led to an influx of new viewers and fans who were introduced to the LPGA through her. The LPGA, knowing how vital it is to attract younger audiences, publicly praised Clark's contribution, acknowledging the attention and excitement she brought to their sport. However, not everyone was happy with this. The WNBA, which has long been struggling with visibility compared to its male counterpart, seems to have reacted with some degree of hostility towards Caitlin Clark's rising star power. The frustration from certain corners of the WNBA appears to stem from the fear that Clark, by drawing so much attention from fans and the media, could be inadvertently overshadowing the WNBA's own athletes, especially the league's established stars. It's a complicated issue. On one hand, Clark's popularity could be seen as a positive thing for women's sports as a whole. After all, the more attention that gets drawn to one female athlete, the more attention will eventually spill over to others. But on the other hand, some in the WNBA feel that Clark's appeal is distracting from their ongoing efforts to build a following for the league and its players. For them, it may feel like their hard-fought gains for recognition could be undone by someone from a different sport suddenly stealing the spotlight. The situation is made more complex by the NBA's apparent indifference or lack of support for Caitlin Clark's growing fame outside of basketball. Unlike the WNBA's reaction, the NBA hasn't shown a great deal of interest in promoting Clark as a cross-sport ambassador or aligning her with their own brand. This raises questions. Is the NBA trying to protect its own stars and interests, or are they simply missing the bigger picture? There's a possibility that the NBA might feel threatened by the idea of a female athlete from a completely different sport garnering as much attention as their top male athletes, especially if it begins to overshadow their own brand-building efforts in women's sports. In this light, the silence or lack of enthusiastic support from the NBA might reflect an underlying concern that Caitlin Clark's influence could be too much of a distraction for both the NBA and WNBA, inadvertently shifting the spotlight away from the men's and women's basketball leagues. Ultimately, the clash between the LPGA and the WNBA over Caitlin Clark's role in women's sports is more than just about rivalry between different leagues. It speaks to a larger issue within women's sports about how to navigate and harness growing popularity and how athletes from different sports can help one another grow without undermining the progress each has made. The question remains whether the WNBA, and perhaps even the NBA, are missing the opportunity to leverage Clark's fame for the broader benefit of all women's sports. If they can shift their perspective, the rise of stars like Caitlin Clark could be the very thing that pushes women's sports into the mainstream in a way that benefits everyone. In the end, this story is about more than just one athlete. It's about the future of women's sports, the competition for attention, and the delicate balance between celebrating one star and supporting the collective growth of female athletics across different disciplines. The outcome of this clash could have lasting implications on how we think about women's sports for years to come.